Okay, so hello everyone. Give me 1 second. Okay, so what I want to do in this video is I want to go over rational equations. So these are a little bit more complicated than the previous ones we were doing. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. So the first one, I'm going to copy down the first one. And these I think are like, so they're not like the hardest ones. I'm going to do, so these are kind of like medium, I guess, in a way. That's at least that's what they look like to me. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and do these for problems, and then in another video I'll do a lot more tougher examples in these. So give me 1 second. Okay, so this is the first one. So the first thing that I want to say about this one is we want to, so once we do solve for x, we want to check our solutions just to make sure there are no extraneous solutions. If, if, for example, if there's like, if it either has no solution or if it, just to make sure that we check our answers, because with rational equations, there are certain equations that have extraneous solutions or that they don't have a solution at all. So we always want to make sure to check, our answers after we solve for x. So this one, the first thing I see here is I see that there's a common denominator with these two, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and subtract. I'm going to bring this part here to one side. So I'm going to subtract 1 over, and I'm going to say 5x squared plus 11x plus 6, right? So, and then I'm going to do that to both sides. So minus 1 over 5x squared plus 11x plus 6, like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and just do this, right? And then since they have the same denominator, so this cancels out, you just have 4 minus 1 over 5x squared plus 11x plus 6. And this, you just bring it down. So this is going to be equal to 1 over 5x plus 6, right? So then we kind of go ahead and simplify the top part for that. So it'll be 1 over 5x plus 6 is equal to 3 over 5x squared plus 11x plus 6. Now, what we do is we cross multiply. So basically just multiply these two things. So 1 times 5x squared plus 11x plus 6, right? And this is equal to 3 times 5x plus 6, right? So we want to go ahead and just simplify this and solve for x, right? So basically, you're just going to say 5x squared plus 11x plus 6 equals 15x plus 18. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and make this equal to 0. So minus 15x minus 18 minus 15x minus 18, right? So then what you're going to do is you're going to grab, so you have 5x squared, and then 11 minus 15, I think, is negative 4. Negative 4x, and then 6 minus 18 is negative 12. And then this is equal to 0. So then you're going to try and go ahead and factor this out. So So basically a is equal to 5. We know b is -4. And c is -12. And we know that a times c, so this is a, this is b, and this right here is my c value, right? And I need to know what a times c is, so a times c is really 5 times -12, right? So 5 times -12. So it'll be something like this, right? And then, so this is going to equal -60, right? And then our b value is -4, right? So b is -4, we already know. And so we want two numbers that multiply to -60 and add to -4. So if we do our little t-chart for -60, we have -1 and 60, -2 and 30, -4 and I think it's 15, and then we have -5 and 12, and we have -6 and 10. We also have the negative parts, so we can also say -10 and 6, right? So obviously, if you look at all of these, this one is the one that adds to -4. So we can say that, we can say the following. So we can say 5x squared minus 4x minus 12 is equal to 5x squared, and we're going to use this part, so we're going to say minus 10x, and then we're going to use this part plus 6x, so plus 6x, and then whatever is our c value, which is minus 12, right? So minus 12. And now we're just going to solve it by factoring. So we have 5x squared minus 10x, and then plus 6x minus 12. This is just, so we have 5x squared minus 10x plus the quantity 6x minus 12. And so when we factor this, we can factor out a 5x. So 5x times x minus 2, and then plus 6 times the quantity x minus 2, right? So that's what this is, and then this is what this is, right? And we obviously know that there's a common factor of x minus 2, so really we have 5x times x minus 2, and then plus 6 times x minus 2, right? And so if we make u equal to x minus 2, we can go ahead and say 5x u, and then plus 6u. And like I said, you can factor out that u. So then it'll be u times the quantity of 5x plus 6 is equal to 0, right? Because we're solving for x. And we know that u is x minus 2. So really this is the quantity x minus 2. So x minus 2, and then times 5x plus 6 equals 0. Now, you're going to solve both for x. So you have x minus 2 equals 0, or 5x plus 6 equals 0. To solve this for x, you're just going to add 2 to both sides. You get x equals 2. Then to solve this for x, you're just going to subtract 6 on both sides. You have 5x equals -6, and then divide by 5. and it gives you x equals negative 6 over 5. Now, you want to go ahead and check it, because, like I said, there can be extraneous solutions. So give me 1 second. Okay, so basically, you're just going to check it, right? We're checking x equals 2. So we have 1 over, and then this is 10 plus 6, plus 1 over 5 times 4. We're literally just checking it. 5 times 4 plus 22 plus 6 equals 4 over 5 times 4 plus 22 plus 6. And so then this will be 1 over 16 plus 1 over 20 plus 28 is equal to 4 over 20 plus 28. And so then this becomes 1 over 16 plus 1 over 48 equals 4 over 48. And if we go ahead and subtract the 1 over 48 on both sides, this will give us 1 over 16 equals 3 over 48. If we cross multiply this, we say that 1 times 48 is 3 times 16. And so if we check that, we have 48 equals 48, which is true. So that's that solution does work. Now, you want to go ahead and check x equals negative 6 over 5, which I'm going to go ahead and do right now. So the reason why I didn't write the whole thing is because so basically, here's what happens when we check for x equals negative 6 over 5, is that, so when I do this first one here, which I'm doing right here, this cancels out. This becomes 1 over negative 6 plus 6, which gives me 1 over 0. When you're checking your solutions, you never want a 1 over 0. If you do end up with something like that in the first part of this, then, like in the beginning of checking your answer, then that means that the answer is extraneous. So this one is extraneous. It's an extraneous solution. So our solution is actually going to be x equals 2 for this problem, right? So our solution will be x equals 2. Okay? So that is how you do that one. Okay, so this is number 2. This one is very similar to number 1. What I'm going to do again is I'm going to move one of the, so because they both have the same denominator, I'm going to move this to the right side. So I'm going to subtract minus 1 over x squared plus 8x. So I'm going to do that to both sides, because they have the same denominator, and I mean, you can literally subtract them out. So bring it to the other side by subtracting it. And so this would cancel out. We'd get 1 over x. And again, they have the same denominator. So I'm going to literally say 5 minus 1 over x squared plus 8x. And so this ends up being 1 over x is equal to 4 over x squared plus 8x. Now, I can go ahead and say that this is equal to, and so it'll be like this. So x squared plus 8x times 1 is just x squared plus 8x. And then this is going to be equal to, and then it'll be this, 4x, right? So it'll be 4x like this. So then it's just a matter of simplifying and solving, right? So we want to set this equal to 0, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Minus 4x on both sides. I get x squared plus 4x equals 0, because 8x minus 4x is 4x, right? And so then I can factor an x out, so x times x plus 4 equals 0. So that means that x equals 0, or x plus 4 equals 0. And then to solve that one for x, I just subtract 4 on both sides, and I get that x equals negative 4. Now again, you want to check your solutions. So let me go ahead and actually do this one on camera. So when we check x equals 0, I'm going to do 1 over, and I have x, it goes 1 over x squared plus 8x, and then plus 1 over x, I think, plus 1 over x is 5 over x squared plus 8x. So 5 over x squared plus 8x. And again, we're going to do x equals 0, so we're going to check x equals 0. And what happens when I do that? Well, you do 1 over 0 squared plus 8 times 0. Just looking at this on its own, I already know this is extraneous, because this ends up being 1 over 0 plus 0, which is 1 over 0, and we cannot have that. This cannot work, because even if you do have that, it'll be 1 over 0 plus 1 over 0 is 5 over 0, which, no. You can never have undefined, right? So this is extraneous. Now, if we do negative 4, we can go ahead and do negative 4. So 1 over x squared plus 8x. So let's go ahead and rewrite it down. So if I put check x equals negative 4, this will be 1 over x squared plus 8x. So 1 over x squared plus 8x, and then plus 1 over x plus 1 over x is equal to 5 over x squared plus 8x, right? And if I check negative 4, I end up getting 1 over, and I'll do the quantity negative 4 quantity squared plus 8 times negative 4, and then plus 1 over negative 4 is equal to 5 over the quantity negative 4 squared, so negative 4 quantity squared, plus 8 times negative 4. So then, this is going to be 1 over 16 minus 32, and then minus 1 over 4, because there's a negative here, so it becomes a negative fraction. And then this will be equal to 5 over 16 minus 32. This is 1 over negative 16 minus 1 over 4 equals 5 over negative 16. This is really negative 1 over 16 minus 1 over 4 equals negative 5 over 16. If you get the common denominator, do this, right? And you get negative 1 over 16 minus 4 over 16 equals negative 5 over 16. And so negative 1 minus 4 over 16 equals negative 5 over 16. So then that means that negative 5 over 16 is negative 5 over 16. So this works, right? So our solution for this one is x equals -4, right? And x equals 0 is the extraneous solution. So our solution is x equals -4. And that is how you do that one, okay? So I ended up getting rid of number 4. Since all of these are kind of similar, we're just gonna do these, and then in another video I'll do even way more complicated ones for this. So we're gonna do number 3. So it goes 6 over x equals 1 over x minus 3 minus 7 over x. So all of these are very similar. We're doing the same thing again. We're gonna go ahead and, so this time I'm gonna add 7 over x because I want to end up with a positive, right? So plus 7 over x on both sides. And so this ends up being 13 over x equals 1 over x minus 3. Now, surprisingly, this one is very, very simple. It's really a linear equation, if you look at it. This becomes, so we cross multiply here, this is x, and then equals 13 times x minus 3. So then, if you do distributive property, here, we get x equals 13x minus 39. And so we can go ahead and subtract 13x on both sides. So this will give us negative 12x equals negative 39. And then we're going to divide both sides by negative 12. And this will give us x equals 39 over 12. And again, we want to check it, right? So we're going to do 6 over, and we have 39 over 12 equals 1 over, and it's 39 over 12 minus 3. Oops, minus 3. And then minus 7 over 39 over 12. So then so the way that I'm going to do it is we have 6, and then we know that it's being divided by 39 over 12, right? This really becomes 6 times 12 over 39. And then this is equal to 1 over, and we're subtracting here, so it'll be 39 minus 12 times 3, which is 36, all over 12. And then this will be equal to, or I'm sorry, this will be minus, and it'll be 7 times 12 over 39. So then, doing this, we get 72 over 39 equals 1 over, and it'll be, I believe it's 3 over 12, like this, and then minus, and then 12 times 7 is 84, so 84 over 39. And again, you're just going to get, you're going to get one of them to the other side, so we're going to just go ahead and add 84 over 39 on both sides. And this is going to give us 156 over 39 equals 1 times 12 over 3. Because, really, like, this cancels out 1 times 12 over 3. And we know that This is, so 156 over 39 is equal to 4, really. And if you check that, you can kind of check it to see if that's true. You can multiply 39 on both sides and see if 39 times 4 is indeed 156. So if we do that, we get 6 and then 12, 13, 14, 15. So this is true, right? So 156 is equal to 156. So this is definitely a solution, right? So, and there was only one solution in this one. So yeah, always make sure you check your solutions, especially if they're fractions, because again, you just never know. I always like to do that, unless your professor, your teacher tells you, oh, there should be one solution, and one of them should be extraneous, like, you know, then, that's when you know, but like, or if they tell you, oh, there should only be one solution, then you don't really have to check it. But if they don't tell you anything about that, or how many solutions there are, or like, kind of how it is, then just do, just do like the, the, just like check your answers and, to make sure that you have all your solutions correct, or for any extraneous solutions. So that is how you do this. These are just 3 examples, guys, of how to solve more complicated, rational equations. Again, I might do much tougher ones in the next video. So if you guys do have any questions, please let me know. And please like, comment, and or subscribe. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.